it will be good though because we haven't brought these guys in for, what's this? What's all this? Oh, Nicholas. We haven't had these guys in for exams because of the ringworm and because they're not, there's nothing really going on with them that is urgent. But I have been sort of keeping an eye on Nicholas. Sounds a little bit crackly, like he may have some congestion in his lungs, which would not be super surprising considering how much upper respiratory gunk they had coming in. And it's likely the treatment would be basically everything we're doing now. Perhaps, we might change things a little bit if he does have congestion in his lungs. Or it could be that I'm just hearing things, but he is. I would of course take him in immediately if he seemed like it was affecting him. But his temperature's been normal. He's eating and drinking and playing and gaining weight, and those are kind of all the things we look for. Oh, and he has a really fluffy belly. So, and he's not fluorescing, just like a tiny bit of fluorescence, like in his ears. But, so he's getting better from the ringworm. So, it's just that, what he just did makes me think that he probably has some congestion in his lungs. Sometimes that is caused by worms, like lungworms, but one of the reasons we did the Panicure deworming was because it kills lungworms, but there would be residual congestion probably. But we'll see what Dr. Ferguson thinks, because I'm no expert. She, however, is. So we'll see. Look at your ears, they're so handsome. Should we get some Q-tips? Oh, my two boy foofs. So I will feel better having that checked out. But like I said, he's doing really well other than that. So it's not anything to be alarmed about. It's just something that, and he is on antibiotics for secondary bacterial infections, and so that's basically, we may switch to a different antibiotic or something if it turns out to be the case, but we'll just have to wait and see. No sense speculating like I just did for the last 10 minutes, right? Jingle floofers, where did he go? I was going to clean out his ears and then he left. What else? Micro Floofy is looking adorable per usual. She's still, she's the glowiest, the most fluorescy, the most actively infected with the ringworm still. Not surprising because her immune system was basically completely shot by the time she got here. So it will take much longer for her probably to build up immune system and be able to fight it. Obviously the meds and the baths and the cleaning help, but she had a lot of catching up to do, whereas these guys were pretty strong. Well, this guy was pretty strong. Yes. Even though you've had ringworm for probably the longest, since August. So, let's see. So it would be nice to have them all officially checked out. And we can make any adjustments and treatments that we need to. Oh, you're so adorable. What else? Oh, Jingle's PCR came back positive, which is what we were expecting. And Elf's also came back positive. I was sort of on the fence about whether Elf's would come back positive, but it did. So I'm not really surprised. Oh, look at you. Look at you. But what we were trying to find out, what I wanted to know by doing those tests, even though we were pretty sure of the outcome, there's not a lot of documentation or data about, for example, how long you would need to wait after doing a bath before you could get an accurate test result for ringworm PCR. And so we've usually waited a few days just to make sure that we're not like gaming the system. Because you don't want to get a false negative. You don't want to get a false positive either, but you really don't want to get a false negative. So I wanted to see if we did take samples right after they had a bath, that if they would come back positive for cats that we know are positive. And so they did, and so that is good information to have, because then maybe next time we won't have to wait so long to take a sample. Because we always there's always that conundrum. We want to bathe them right away, but we also want to confirm if they're positive. But we also don't want them to come back positive if they are just environmentally contaminated. So since everyone coming from the colony has been exposed to ringworm, if they happen to have ringworm spores in their fur but are not actively infected, then giving them a bath should take care of it, and then we wouldn't have to do all this ISO and treatment and stuff in theory. And so if we can bathe them on intake and then do a PCR, it will, in theory, get us more accurate, more timely results, which I think would be super helpful. So that was the point of that. That's a good question. If microfloof is actively fluorescing, is she at risk for re-exposing her roommates? So again, in theory, since they're all on systemic treatment, those meds that they're going through a bottle every 4 days, then they shouldn't reinfect each other, in theory. Typically, however, we have taken in like a litter of ringworm kittens that have all been exposed at the same time and are all at the same stage in their ringworm infection cycle. And so, as you would expect, they will typically cure around the same time. So I'm not sure with these guys, since we don't know, well, we know that Jingle has had ringworm since at least early August. These guys aren't as old, so they probably haven't had it as long. So we have a lot of unknowns. We're always learning something new. But I think it is unlikely, but it is certainly possible. However, at this time, everyone in here is still, I would say, actively infected. So unless if there was like a skin trauma, like if they had a fight and someone got scratched or bitten, then it would probably be more likely to be reinfected. But because they have the drugs on board, I would say it's far less likely that a new infection would be able to take hold. But that's the sort of thing that we don't have a lot of information about. Look at you. Oh, ooh, 2 floopy bellies. Air purifier. So the problem with an air purifier is that we would have to throw it out because there would be no way to clean the spores out of it, and I'm not sure if there's a risk of, like, what the risk would be of, say, the filter was loose or not installed properly or something like that. Would we just be circulating spores? I don't know. I think if properly installed and if it was like a filter that was smaller than the ringworm spores, potentially it could reduce contaminants, but I don't know that we could confidently disinfect it to be used again. And because we do so much disinfecting and we change the bedding so frequently, I don't know how incrementally helpful it would be necessarily. But it is a good question and something that is probably worth looking into. How do I know Jingle had ringworm in August? So back in August, when we were full and Laps was full, the property owner told me about Jingle and his litter mates, and they were all pretty sick, and I was trying to find somewhere that we could take them, and they had ringworm at the time, which means we couldn't put them in a foster home. And I think we were still living here, and so there were no available spaces here. And so I gave them dewormer and Revolution for fleas and ear mites and all that stuff, hoping that if we could reduce the parasite load, that they would cure faster. So he found a plate. He found someone who took one of the kittens, who was, it turns out, not in great shape, and she took him right to the vet. But it was already too late for him, unfortunately. And so Jingle is the only survivor of that litter. And but that's how we know. We know that back in, it was the beginning of August. We know that they had ringworm then, so for him to still have it is usually we think it cures within 4 or 5 months. It will self-cure, but not always, especially if they're in an environment with ringworm everywhere. It is probably less likely to cure. Right, so the shaving question. So there are 2 schools of thought. Oh, thank you, Hilda. That's very nice of you. With the washable filter. That would be interesting. That was very nice of you. The shaving question. There are 2 schools of thought on whether to shave them and whether that helps to cure them faster. On the pro side, it would reduce the amount of infected material, and potentially reducing the number of spores would lead to faster cure. The downside is that you increase the risk of microtrauma to the skin, which then increases the risk of infection. And then the other issue is that then you've got hair, no matter how much you try to control it, you've got all this infected hair in your environment. So you're releasing a ton of spores through the actual shaving part. So it is interesting though. We have not done it in the past. However, I do feel like if we could come up with a way to shave or clip the infected areas at least in a way where the hair was contained and not at a high risk of just contaminating everything, then it may be worth a shot the next time around. So we shall see. We'll probably try it if we get another batch in. I think for these guys, the ship has sailed, and they are on the path to getting better. The fluorescence is less bright. Hello. And for everybody except Noelle, the hairs are starting to grow. You can see healthy growth at the bottom of the infected hairs, which is a very good sign. So, hi, I'm just gonna look in your ears. Oh, that one looks very clean. Oh, that one looks very nice. Oh, look at those wondrous ears. Good job. Look at my tongue is out. Oh, look at that exhausted little microfleece. Yeah, some kind of shaving booth would be interesting. I think, yeah, I sort of am changing my mind about that after, because we've never really monitored the fluorescing as closely as I am this time around, and it is kind of interesting to see how it's been changing over the last couple of weeks. Hi there, little fluffy fluff. You are so cute. Such an adorable little microfloof. Microfloof looks like she's still floofy, but she's really bald. Basically, she's basically bald with the illusion of fluff. Your ears are not too bad. Oh, are you a little bit gassy? Are you a little bit gassy? Smells like French fries. Hi, Jingle Co. Oh, see? I don't like that. I don't like it. Coughing in Nick. You're still gunky. This one's not as clean as the other one. I know, she still looks floofy on the camera. But trust me, she's gonna be, when she actually is floofy again, I bet she will look twice the size. She will be much larger. Oh, you are too cute. And also her skin pigment, I think, hides the baldness, because she doesn't have like bald pink skin sticking out. Let's get better. Let's do like one more. What do you think? What do you think? Where'd your little friend Elf go? So Cassidy, we had our conference call with Dr. Marcellin Little and Dr. Ferguson, and we talked about, oh wait, they get you. There you go, good job. We talked about his current splints, and he looked at the x-rays and said that there's nothing anatomically that looks like it would preclude his knees from functioning normally if the physical therapy is successful, which is really good. The left one is definitely, it has some abnormalities, but he doesn't think that should prevent it from functioning. So now it's just a matter of getting him in the splint for enough minutes every day. So today so far I got 49 minutes on the right and about 26 on the left. And so after I leave here, I'm going to try to do another session. I have to give him a break in between because, hi microflutes, you're too cute. Because it's a lot to ask for him to sit still, and he doesn't like it and he gets grumpy, and so I can't just like crank on him for hours and hours and hours. Oh, microfloof, you are becoming microfloof. Jingle, you need that. You have a little mat and you clip. It's from medicine. So I'm hopeful that I think I need to make some more modifications on the splints based on today. He's really sensitive on the ends of his stumps. Not surprising, especially the one with the sore on it. So, and he tends to like shift them around, and then if he pulls back, if his skin, because his skin is so loose, he pulls back, and then it gets like, it's a bit of a, anyways, it's complicated. So I'm gonna try to make some changes, and then we'll see to make it more comfortable, but still trudging on. The ones he's rejected, these are the best ones that, this is the best design so far, so I don't think going back to any of the old ones would be beneficial. Casserole loves treats. He's very snack oriented, motivated, but he does pretty well just relaxing. It just takes a while because I need him to be relaxed, and so I have to take it slow with him. So that's one of the reasons it takes so long. I can see chat now. I did put a monitor in the room so that there's a silent clock and chat, which is cool. Oh, look at you. Oh yes, I did get the second box of scrubs from Brendan. Thank you very much. That was very nice of you. Very nice. I know Clockgate 2015 was quite a scandal, but we've all survived. We've all survived. Mistletoe foot update. It's so nice having the chat in here. Dr. Ferguson is coming tomorrow at 4:30 kitten time. We'll start in the mistletoe room, and she will do an official exam and most likely remove sutures. She was bearing more weight on it today, which is good. It looks good to me. Like it doesn't look like it's infected or anything like that. It was infected when she came in, so it doesn't look like there's anything really horrible that's happened to it. So it will be good to see what Dr. Ferguson thinks. And that will be good. Tara, yes, we did open the box. You should be getting a thank you note soon. And thank you very much. And the cookies were tasty. Yeah, Mistletoe's wound was pretty bad, and definitely wouldn't have healed on its own. So she was basically coyote bait out there with not being able to move very quickly and having an infection and not good. So it's very good that we were able to get her and that Dr. Ferguson was able to fix her up, and especially that she's allowed me to bandage her and give her meds and stuff to do the follow-up care, because we couldn't have released her the next day with a freshly operated on foot. It just would not have worked. So it's been very good that she's allowed handling, and she was in my lap earlier before I came in the room here, purring and rolling over and giving me her belly and stretching. And so she still hisses when I approach her. She gets very ferocious. Not really, she just hisses. She's not aggressive at all, but she does hiss. But as soon as I grab her and as soon as she's in my lap, she totally starts purring. And so it's pretty neat. So hopefully we will have a really special home that falls in love with her, a nice quiet home that understands her needs and is willing to be patient, and ideally adopt her with one of the other cats in that room, because they do like to not be by themselves. They're very used to communal living. So yeah, so I don't think that we are going to return her. We just need to find a perfect home for her, and it will have to be a very special home. So as long as we can make that happen, then I don't see her going back to the forest, which is good. Yeah, exactly like Doe's home. Doe's home would be perfect. Maybe Doe needs a roommate. What else? Holly had a little area on her left paw open up yesterday with a little pus inside, so not super surprising, but she has been doing better. But it's hard with whatever happened with her paws. It seems like there were lots of little pockets of infection, and despite the antibiotics, if you can't drain all that stuff out, then it's pretty hard for it to heal on the inside. So they are looking better overall, but the left one now is a bit more swollen, and sore for her, but we'll see what Dr. Ferguson thinks. Jingle Floof would love to go on a plane ride, I'm sure, but he has to bring along. Jingle Floof comes with his accessory is a micro floof. It's like 2 floofs for 1. It's really hard to know what happened to Holly because it's so weird. It does look like something was wrapped around her foot at one point. Or both of her feet. The property owner thinks that some of these injuries are due to like being up in machinery engines, potentially. It's really hard to say. But any sort of puncture wound tends to heal on the outside and then trap the bacteria on the inside, and especially in the feet, it's a pretty tough area to heal just because they tend to keep breaking open, and but at least they didn't get her and put her out of her misery. Thank goodness for the property owner stepping in and knowing that he had a better idea. Jingle and Jingle Bells, that's pretty cute. So let's see, I think that's probably it. I tried to come in earlier because I've been coming in so late. And because Gwen has been helping so much. And Ms. Tyler was here today. Ms. Tyler, our awesome Tiny Kittens in the Classroom teacher. Thank you for that. The property owner doesn't really have pet cats. He does have a dog, and he's very compassionate, obviously. So one of the reasons there are so many cats on his property is because he is one of the few farmers who does not employ the so-called farmer solution to control the cat population. And so the flip side of that is that we end up with lots of too many cats, but it's still a more humane option. And he definitely looks out for the injured ones and the any kittens that are looking really sick. I am going to the feeding station tomorrow, yes. My days are Tuesday and Wednesday. The big bellies are a result of inflammation and gas and, byproduct of all the parasites. So sometimes it will take a while for them to go back to normal. We'll see again tomorrow. We'll ask if Dr. Ferguson has any ideas on what we can do to speed that process along. But it's most likely just time, and because they've had a very aggressive deworming regimen, and they've had all of the meds that should help with that. They've had the Fortiflora, which is a probiotic. Hi, Elf. Oh, Elfers, you're so brave. But Elf, especially, you can really see her belly is still quite big. Sloane was there waiting today. Yes, she was. Sloane, and Renara, and Teller, and Caprice, Barkley. They were all there. So sleepy. You guys had a good play session, and now it's time for naps. Okay, I better go. It is 6:45. I don't think we could. I don't think the time is right to try to trap Sloane again. I don't think she's ready. She's definitely curious and she likes interacting. And I think there is some potential there, perhaps eventually. But she's not, like, Renara is much further along than Sloane is. She enjoys petting and has come a long way. We actually, I think I told this story last night too, but she was one of the in either the first or second group of cats that the property owner trapped for us. This was before he was letting us do the trapping on our side. He would take a few hours and trap some cats, and so she was in one of either the first, I think maybe it was the second group of cats, and we were concerned. She had the big belly like Elf, and we were concerned she might be pregnant, so we didn't want to send her off for a spay. And I was thinking that it would be that she was younger, and so maybe we would have a shot at socializing her. But that was, again, that was when I was still living here, and there was no extra space, and I wasn't set up here to try to socialize ferals. And that was at the very beginning of all the stuff that we've learned since then. And so we kept her at laps to see how she would do, hoping that she might have some potential. But it's pretty stressful there. It's noisy, and there are dogs barking, and they have different people coming in and out. And so it's not quite the same experience, and I think it's probably, so we sort of were set her up to fail, kind of, with the best intentions, but she really did not do well. She was charging the staff. She was not able to be handled, and so they ultimately, after about a week, they were like, "Can we please return her?" And so we did end up returning her. But again, it's been pretty neat to see at the feeding station just how interacting with them on a daily basis. Certain cats are responding to that, and there are certain others that probably never will, or maybe eventually they will, we don't know. But she's definitely been one that has really come around in the last couple months. So potentially we'll bring in more, and maybe we'll be able to bring in Sloane someday. She's not. It's a whole different ball game when they're not pregnant and having babies to protect. So Sloane doesn't enjoy. You can get a few little pets in here and there, but she doesn't really enjoy it. But she does seek out attention, and she's definitely curious about us. So perhaps in time we will get to a point where we can try her again, along with a companion, which would be really cool. I haven't been able to periscope out there because my first of all, the cell service is terrible, and my my phone bill was like $300. That one month I was doing all the periscoping, and so, because back when I used to live in the America, you could get unlimited data plans, but you can't do that here in the Canada. So, so I've had to cut back on my periscoping activities. So, I probably will switch around the cameras at some point again so you guys can see the cats in the other room. I guess when we're doing exams, I will try to switch things around. Hopefully I'll remember. Yes, I have seen Mila since release. She comes around every so often. Lori saw Cisco yesterday or the day before. Maybe it was Sunday. So they are doing really well. Oh, you're so handsome. All right, I better go for real this time. 7 o'clock. Holy moly! Where does the time go? Honestly, I just don't know. It's like time goes at a different speed when you're with kittens. All right, everybody, have fun. There are some adorable kittens everywhere you look. Adorable little kitten faces. All right, baths are happening again tomorrow because we were able to get Kimsey's, and Amanda and Gwen are going to be here, and I'm going to do morning splinting with Casserole, and then I'm going to come and help, and then yeah, so that will be fun. Always something exciting happening over here. All right, I'll be back later on. Everybody enjoy.